and welcome to For Action Takers Only. Today we got on Jada Thoele. I hope I'm saying her last name right, but she is a young real estate investor, and I wanted to hear her story. These young people in real estate investing are really an inspiration, and I think it's awesome that they're getting involved in doing this. I never had the brain function to do this at their age, so it's pretty amazing to watch them grow. So I'm going to bring her on in here.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing well. And you're very close with my name. It's Thoele.
Thoele, I'm sorry. Okay, so I should have asked you before, but Thoele. So where are you originally from?
Los Angeles. Born and raised.
Born and raised Los Angeles. What part of Los Angeles? I used to live there when I was younger.
I pretty much grew up in Alhambra area.
Okay, all right. Well, I lived in Hollywood. When I graduated high school, I wanted to be a rock star, so I moved to Hollywood and went to a musicians institute there. So
Interesting. My
yeah.
dad was not a rock star, but my dad was in a band, I think until I was maybe about 5. So he would, from like high school to then, he was like playing gigs and a bunch of stuff. And it was funny because he didn't like the spotlight for just himself. He just really liked playing. And
Hmm.
he was not used to the attention. And a couple people he would say would see him at like the bus stop and be like, "Hey, you're that guy." So that's
Yeah.
funny.
Make them nervous, huh? He'd be like, "Oh, no, no, I'm not."
Yep.
All right, so I got to ask, how old are you?
At 23, about to be 24.
23, moved from Los Angeles. I saw on your website that about to be 24. When's your birthday?
March 27th.
Oh, wow, it's coming up really quick.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday if I don't get to talk to you before then.
Thank you.
So, coming up, Los Angeles. I also saw that you're a mechanical engineer. You graduated. Do you have your degree in mechanical engineering?
No. So
No,
I was going. I just didn't finish.
didn't finish. Okay. So, okay, that brings us to, so how did you come across real estate investing and what made you want to decide to do this at such a young age?
Yeah, completely abandoned the engineering. They just go a completely different direction.
Right.
Um, yeah, so okay, I'm like, there's a lot of backstory to this, but not a lot. So I'll put it in the sense of growing up, my mom was very entrepreneurial. She had the mindset of, well, I'll figure it out. I know when I was younger, maybe about 3 to 5, she wasn't a loan officer. I think she was a loan officer's assistant. So she definitely liked real estate. I remember she had bought a condo, so we lived in that for a bit, and then we moved, and she ended up renting it out. Um, but all this didn't really matter to me. I wasn't thinking about real estate or anything. I was not interested in houses, but I did have that entrepreneurial spirit, I guess. Um, and I say that because when I was in 6th grade, and actually, no, when I was in 5th grade, I started going to a bunch of birthday parties and we would hit piñatas and get a bunch of candy. And I knew I wasn't going to eat it all. So I just started taking it to school and selling it for like 25 cents a piece. And then in 6th grade, I was homeschooled, and my mom took that opportunity to take me, for a day every so often. And we would go and sell lunches, and our clientele were essentially like contractors or construction workers. And yeah, we would wholesale wholesale sandwiches, a bag of chips, and a juice. um so yeah, with those experiences and a few more, like I in high school I started selling chips, and I kept just selling different things at school, which I was very good at, very sneaky. But I think I also got the sense of, oh, okay, well, I can make it happen if I need the money or something. Like, I know that I can do these things. I've already done them before. um and then I went to college, and really neither of my parents went to college. I went there because I had gotten financial aid. So it was almost like I was getting paid to go. And I thought that it would be dumb to not.
Not, yeah.
And so I was in college for a couple years, and it was a great experience. And I'm very appreciative of the opportunities that I got because of it. But yeah, I guess after the lockdowns and everything, once we actually started going back to school, I just didn't have the same desire to really keep going. And I didn't really have the desire anyways. I went into the mechanical engineering fields just because I liked physics. So I thought, it'd be cool to learn more and hopefully learn how things operate, but I didn't realize how theoretical everything is. And so it was kind of easy to lose that that passion to keep going. And then finally going to your question, um, I'm pretty sure at the time I was on Instagram or something. And I'm very sure that some 18-year-old with a rental property popped up. And that at least got me thinking, oh, that'd be cool to get a rental property. I know that
Hmm.
my mom had one before. My aunts, they're stay at home moms, but that's how they get their rental income as well. So it was kind of cool. And so at that time, we were going back to school at the university, and I didn't want to pay for for parking on the university, so I'd go out to the where all the houses were more in suburbia, park there, and then ride my scooter to class. And so while I would ride my scooter, I would be listening to real estate professionals or attorneys like Clint Coons, and he would go over what's an LLC, why should you get into real estate, how to be the safest way to get into real estate, and then one time he had Pace Morby on, and that's when I really took the plunge. So it was the fact that not only was Pace talking about, very intriguing things about how to buy with no money down or how to use other people's money. And that was really cool. And I was interested. Um, and at that time, I was thinking, okay, well, I want to get into real estate. I know I can make it happen. I don't have the money right now, but what would be the most inexpensive and easiest way to get in? And I was thinking, okay, well, I can go to auctions. Um, but then I was racked with guilt because I was thinking, well, what if a family was in there and they just were down on their luck, and I would be profiting over, or I would be profiting from their misfortune. And it was just a lot of stuff. So when Pace had mentioned, he mentioned in the podcast, and we help people get out of foreclosure, I was sold and I joined immediately. So that was my intro into real estate.
All right. Well, that brings us to the next question. How long have you been in SubTo? When did you join?
I joined September 2021. So, wow, almost 2 years.
Right at the brink of COVID coming on strong. Wow. So you're joining SubTo, getting into real estate at the height of COVID. Did you not get nervous about that?
No, I didn't really think about it. I
You didn't really
just,
think about it, just dove in. That's usually the best way to go, though. So, all right.
yeah,
So now, you joined SubTo. So how did you get? You're part of the $1 Million Upside team, right? KJ
yes.
Mudd's team. Okay. How
Mhm.
did you connect with them?
So that I think it was by a very fortunate chance. The $1 Million Upside team had as KG Mudd, Joseph Mudd, and at the time there was a few other partners, and they were really going strong when it came to multifamily. They had started, I forget when, I think earlier in 2021, I think, but
Mhm.
they had created a Facebook page because they wanted to help other people understand how they're getting into multifamily and how other people could get into multifamily, and how it's accessible to everybody, pretty much. But with that Facebook page, they were also streaming a lot. So they would stream 2 or 3 times a week. And I don't think it was KJ that invited me. I have no idea who invited me to a stream, but I just happened upon one. And I wasn't involved in I wasn't interested in multifamily at all. I was doing something else at the time. But really it was their personalities that kept me you know, to stay and keep going to their streams, because I thought they were so funny and educational, and they were breaking things down into very, very fundamental um, aspects of not only real estate but of multifamily. So it was cool that, it really helped me understand that, okay, maybe I can go into this field and it's not as complex as I thought. um, and then it was their personalities, not only being kind of funny but also being very professional, that really, really drew me in. So, everybody has gone through bad partnerships, and sometimes they would get questions about it, but their answers were very, I feel like mature is probably the right way to say it, but it was like more than mature. It was, we learned from this experience. We wish them the best, but it's not something we'd like to go into, uh, that really resonated with me. So I just kept showing up to their streams. I kept posting about their streams. Because I wanted everybody to come and luckily last year, I think 2023 in January, KJ had a baby, so she was off now because she had the baby to take care of, and they had an open position. So they were just interviewing people, and I feel very fortunate that they chose me. I was doing their direct to broker outreach, and then it has scaled to where it is now, where we're partners.
Okay, so what are your partners? You're buying,
Mhm.
so you're a partner on the team, so you're buying your own properties now too.
Yes.
And KJ's Mud team, let me or their team, KJ and Joseph, their team is all multifamily, right? Or no, are they doing single family too? They're wholesaling, right?
Yes, yeah. So we're partners in both of them, both endeavors. So the first one was multifamily, and we are still purchasing multifamily. Um, and then we ended up in December partnering or kind of merging teams with the other Houston regional leaders, Brad Lewis and Andrew Arriaga.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then we started our single family wholesaling team, and that started because of Pace's 18-minute challenge.
Yeah, I know. I saw that, and then I saw that I got on KJ Mudd's team for a little bit, but I was on another team, so and I've been kind of committed to the other team, so I dropped off KJ Mudd's. I couldn't commit the time to it, so it wouldn't be fair for them or myself. So
Appreciate that.
yeah. So what's next? Where do you see yourself in a couple years now that you're established on a team, you're a partner, you're buying? Let me ask you this first. How many units do you own? Do you own any homes yet? Own any multifamily?
So personally, I don't own homes yet. I've helped capital raise, but the team has a little over 100 units under our belt. So
Okay. All right. So capital raising. So are you're part of that?
mhm,
And how is that? How is that learning about?
it's a lot. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming. I am practicing increasing my confidence level, which I think comes with increasing my competence. So I have a lot of learning to do. But thankfully, with that learning, I will be able to actually provide value to others. And I don't feel, you know, even now, I don't feel desperate for other people's money. It's just the way that I see it is, hey, I have an opportunity and I think it would be great for you because of X, Y, and Z. If you don't think it's a great opportunity, or if maybe for the tax advantages, I noticed that you have mentioned before that you want to save on taxes, or Uncle Sam is unfair, so hey, I have an opportunity, but if it's not the right one, no worries. And that's how I want to build that confidence level up a little more. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's a lot.
All right, you hit on a very important part, especially in entrepreneurship, business, real estate investing, mindset, confidence.
Yep.
Okay, what do you do on a? What are you doing to increase that confidence?
I am putting in as much work as I can. So I I love Alex and Layla Hormozy. I think almost anybody that watches them loves them. And one of the main reasons why I like them is not only because I get to learn a lot of, business stuff and marketing things that I can apply, but really it's their mindset when it comes to a lot of different things. I I can understand, I can see how much work they put into trying to shift their perspectives on a lot of things. And I try to do the same as well, just in general. But one thing that Alex Hermosi has mentioned is, don't do your best, do what is required. And so within the more recent times, that's been my mantra every day: do what's required. So I've started, getting up at like 5:30 to start work early, and it'll push back more and more and more. Mostly because I think I am a morning person.
Hmm.
I get tired at 8 p.m. and I just want to sleep. So I'm like, okay, I can get up earlier, and not only am I gonna just get up early and do work or make posts or something. It's going to be time that and it is actually time that I'm really delving into, okay, well, what are my roles? Am I going to, and right now I'm more leaning towards a marketing role. So now in the mornings, I'm learning about LinkedIn algorithms. I'm learning about um, what are the best marketing strategies, or, watching Vina Jetty's lives, or watching different things so that I actually understand the material that I'm going to be posting about, or that's going to be in my field of interest. So Really long story short, to answer your question, um, the way that I'm currently trying to raise my confidence is by raising my competence as well as just doing the work. So anything, I ask my team pretty consistently, what do you need me to do? And we try to think not just on like daily level, but on a general level. And then I'm trying to go in and understand, okay, how can on the general level let me specify things that I can do. So I'm really just trying to be an asset and be more well-rounded. And from that, I definitely have gained a lot of confidence already.
Cool. So, with being on the Muds team, do they help you build that confidence too? I know being on there for a short time, I saw they when they got involved with that 18-minute challenge, they really got organized quickly, and that impressed me. So that's why I wanted to be on that team and get on there and start learning some. But yeah, have
Yeah.
they help encourage you on a regular basis?
100%. They're amazing. They are so kind and so encouraging that they said, "Hey, Jada, we have an extra room in Houston. Stay with us." And that's where I am.
So when did you? Yeah, I was going to come to that point too. When did you move to Houston? And did you move from Los Angeles?
Yes. So
Okay.
I call it a temporary move, but going back to Los Angeles keeps getting pushed out. But I came here in late January. So I think January 24th, I've been here.
Okay, and you were planning on going back already, or what?
Yeah, I was planning on going back around May.
Okay,
Um, but a lot of projects just arose and a lot of opportunities. And so it seems like we're going to be traveling until June. So we'll see.
awesome. So let me ask you, what conferences or meetups are you planning on going to? I see you just got through doing one. What, last weekend? Was it last weekend? Or the weekend before last?
I think it was last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that one?
So that one, okay. So that one was called the Money Is Conference. And that one came from Andrew Cordell, which is one of the founders of the Aspire Tour
Okay.
conferences that happen every month nationwide. And I think they're all well, the Aspire Tour I think is really more geared towards entrepreneurs in general. It's not necessarily just real estate focused or stock market focused or like anything like that. I think it's great in that sense because they brought people like Cody Sanchez, they brought people like David Goggins, and it's a lot of speakers at the Aspire Tour that I think it's just a day to really get people amped up and really, if they're on the fence about joining or like starting their own business, or if they have started their own business, sometimes I think it's good to attend those events so that you really get that push that you need to either keep going or just start it. And yeah, and so the last one or the conference I went to last week, that was Andrew Cordell's Money Is, and he talked about the tax-free accounts that the wealthy use. And so that is something that I've always wanted to learn more about. And he goes into Roth IRAs and Coverdell accounts and HSAs and such. And so now it's cool that I actually know what those are. I've never heard those words before last
Hmm.
week, so it was really really incredible. And so yeah, I'm really wanting to get more educated in all of those aspects. And um as far as other conferences that I'm going to, I think he has a few more that I'm going to be attending, and then I'm going to be going to Squat Up Summit as well in
I
Florida.
was going to ask. Yep. Are you going? So,
Absolutely.
all right.
I want a day with pace, so I gotta go.
You want to do what?
I want a day with pace, so
Oh,
I
that's
have
right.
to go.
When do you get to go do that?
That's in November.
November next year? Okay, or at the end of the year, towards the end.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. So
Hmm.
I expect to see a lot of content from you for that. From that,
Yes, I'll do better.
we
I
need more.
I'm
We need more of your content. You need to start putting some more content out there. I think it'll
I
help.
will. I'm great when it comes to taking B-roll. I'm just awful when it comes to putting it together and posting it. So I have B-roll from every conference I've been to, and I've only posted about like one or two.
So you're not an editor then? You don't editor your
No.
stuff? Yeah, I have the same problem. I'm not into that part. I like
I
doing
gotta
it.
hire people.
Yeah, gotta hire people. I haven't hired anybody yet. Still looking, I guess.
Me too.
Right. So squat up. Are you excited? And then pace. That's awesome. That's cool. That's really cool. That's gonna take you a long ways. So, what's your main role? What are you doing for the Muds right now? Are you like disposition? You said you were talking at first, you were contacting brokers for them. So, what do you do for them now? More
Yeah.
marketing?
Yeah. So on the multifamily aspect, it's more of marketing, and everybody's job is capital raising anyways. So I kind of count it, but I kind of don't. But yeah, I'm more of the marketing manager in that sense. And then in the single family side, I um, try to help wherever I can. But I guess the main role there is more of the HR. So I recruit, I make sure everybody's, happy. I took my Clifton strength test, and I have like positivity, woo, and harmony. And those are very much my strong suits.
Yeah, they said you were one of the cheerleaders when I was getting on the team. You're the ones that pump and keeps people going. So that's awesome. I got to ask you about your board behind you.
Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh.
What's on your board behind you?
So I'm very glad you can't read it too much. I I like mantras, but I also feel like, again, Alex Ramosi, he he thinks mantras are kind of BS, or like I'm confident or I'm a millionaire or something when you're not. And he says, they're great if you can back them up. So I'm confident because of these reasons. Like this is my evidence, and so that's what I have up there. But I also, like, you can see all of these. Uh, it's just my to-do list and things that I need to do. And as I'm going to sleep, I have so many things running through my head, not just like, okay, well, what I need to do. And I usually plan my day out before the night before. So I have everything written down, but sometimes I start getting creative with it. And I need this board right here so that I can, just get up, write whatever I need to go, or write whatever I'm thinking of, and then go back to sleep.
That's awesome. So you just keep that right there and it's always in your face.
Yep. I like to be reminded, and I'm liking to be organized.
All right. That's cool. So I got to ask you, you brought up mantras. What about like other mindset stuff? Do you believe in manifestation?
Yes, yes, and yes. I'm just gonna say yes. So my mom is very big on manifestation. She's the very spiritual individual, and she talked about the secret growing up, and all of those things. And my dad is very pragmatic, so he does not believe in, in those things necessarily. So I'm on, like, I teeter totter between the two. But overall, I think a lot of things have to do with your mindset and your perception and your perspective of the world. So I like to think of that book. I think it's Alexander and the No Good, Very Terrible Bad Day, or something like that.
Okay.
And I remember growing up, um, there was one time where my dad had asked me why he was having such a bad day or something along those lines. And I think my response was saying something along the lines of, well, because he was looking for a bad day. After one thing goes bad and you just say, well, this day's no longer good. It's only bad. Then you can only see the bad. And I think with a lot of manifestation and a lot of mantras and a lot of those things, I think really it's just putting into your mind what you want. And because you're putting that into your mind kind of unconsciously starts to, um, maybe uh, shift your mindset and shift your behaviors or your emotions a little bit, to start going in accordance with what you're trying to instill in there. So if you're instilling, hey, I have great days, or hey, whatever it may be, um, then I think you're letting yourself become a little more open minded to those opportunities.
Mhm. All right, so now I'm going to get into when you got started. You've been doing this a couple years now, since
Mhm.
2021.
Mhm.
Now, with business and entrepreneurship, it's hard, right? We
Yeah.
all go through the struggles. So, and I don't know. Did you come across times where, hey, am I doing the right thing? Maybe I should quit.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never had a W-2 before, but I would think maybe I should get a W-2. Maybe this isn't it.
Oh yeah. So what helped you get through those times?
Um, I think it was a combination of different things. One, my mom really loves this industry, so she gets really excited whenever I tell her the new things I'm doing or the new things I'm learning. So her excitement helps me move forward. At the time, I had a partner that was very encouraging as well. He said he would encourage whatever I do, whether I stayed or whether I went. So that was also nice. But I think more than anything, it just seemed like a lot of work to get a W-2. So I figured I'm already on this path. I just keep going.
So no W-2, you never had a W-2. So what other kind of challenges have you faced being a young real estate investor?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Um, I think really it's a lot of the mindset. I think that's one of the main things. I haven't had people that haven't worked with me because I'm young or anything like that. I think more than anything, I've been fortunate that people want to work with me because I'm younger. So
Right.
I capitalize on that when I can. But I I think that, and this is just me as a person in general. I've noticed that I can get really intimidated easily, or I have been that way growing up, and that's something that I'm fixing now, or I'm switching up. Um, but I see people like Kevin Cho or Isa Fidelino, and they have mentors themselves, and they just reached out to these people and said, "Hey, I think you're great. I will work hard, and I want to be your mentee. I want to learn from you." And for me, that's just something that I haven't been courageous enough to do. And but I know that that is the move. I want a mentor, um, but I just haven't. Well, one, I don't know if I found the right person that I would want to mentor me
Hmm.
yet. But also, I am quite intimidated when it comes to talking to people that are older or talking to people that I think are incredibly successful or smart.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
How come?
I feel like I may I feel like sometimes I may come off, or if people don't know me as well, they may think of me in a very pleasant light. But I feel like maybe once they get to know me a little more, understand my skill level a little more, I may come off as somebody that doesn't really know anything and may not be worth the time. And so I think that also drives me to work more and try to learn as much as I can so that I don't see why they would feel that way.
Well, I don't think anybody would. I mean, seeing you so far, just a little bit I've seen of you and on the team, you're doing very well. So you need to squash that thought. That one needs to be squashed. It doesn't work for you.
Thank you. I will. I'll do it today.
All right.
No.
So what strategies do you use to find potential investment properties with the MUDs? You're raising capital? Are you also helping find the properties?
Not anymore, not at this
Okay.
time. I may in the future.
Okay.
Um, but I so when we're looking for investment opportunities with multifamily, essentially, we do a lot of the direct to broker route. So it wasn't just me that was doing the direct to broker. I mean, now we have more of a team of people that are doing that for us. And then we have our own inner core team with some people that still do a lot of broker outreach. So really, we've just kind of kept on that and try to keep those relationships with all the brokers that we have contacted, which have been definitely over 1,200. So we're just trying to get more organized with that so that we can our follow-ups could be a little more structured. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, nothing insane.
All right. So again, you have a confidence. You're struggling with your confidence. How was it doing that? Struggling with that confidence while talking with brokers? Isn't that would be like a big conflict? I would think. I think that'd be like, man, you're jumping right into the fire.
Yep.
Face that fear head on, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting and nerve-wracking, but I think what was amazing is, a lot of brokers gave me a lot of grace. So, I don't know what it is about the difference between brokers and real estate agents, like residential and commercial, but KJ had mentioned this when I was first starting, and she was saying that they understand that a lot of people are just getting into the field, and I guess I don't know. Again, yeah, I have no idea why they're so graceful, but they really were. And so I would just start off with, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what my team has. This is what we have right now. And then when they would start to ask me questions, I would let them know, oh, I'm a little newer to this field and to this team, but I can go ahead and get those questions answered. So just let me get back to you on that. And that's how.
So you didn't get a lot of backlash, like someone when I would call, if I started calling, I noticed I got some backlash. Hey, you don't know anything, and what are you calling me for? And how'd you get my number? And yeah, I got a lot of that. I still get a lot of that. Did you do any direct to sellers calls, or did you ever do any of that?
I have. I started out doing that in the very first month of SubTo, and I was on my own, but I called title companies and I just had a conversation. Also, let them know that I was new. Um, they were nice enough to just send me lists of tax liens or empty nesters, and I think with I think I'm fortunate enough to come across a lot of people that can really resonate with helping the younger generation. Um, and I think I try to be as appreciative as I can, and I think that really hits people the right way. So when I tend to talk to people, I think they tend to like me a little more, and
Mhm.
I haven't really gotten um, a lot of bad engagement. So that has, yeah, again, I've been very fortunate.
Right. So I wanted to ask you about your podcast. You're doing a podcast. What's the name of it?
Driven by youth.
Appropriate name. Very appropriate.
Yeah.
So how tell us about that. Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Sure. So it started because of Pace. I'm pretty sure. I think he was telling us all to start a podcast at the time,
Were
and
you in the project forward? Were you in
I
that
was.
project? Okay.
Yep.
That's it. Sure was. Sure did. He
Absolutely.
sure did.
And I figure, well, if he is, not only a millionaire, but also my mentor and running this whole community that I think is ran very well, if he's saying to do something, I want to do it. Obviously he was giving us some information at the time as well. And, I think it was to be able to collaborate with other people, be able to spotlight other people, but also so that you can make some sort of copycats with yourself. So there are a lot of leaders or a lot of very experienced investors in Sub 2, and they have a lot to educate people on, so they could just do podcast episodes talking about whatever. I don't have that option now. I do. I think I know a little bit more where I could if I wanted to,
Mhm.
but at the time I didn't feel as though I had that value to give, but I knew that I could have people on, and so that's what I started with. And I've kept it going mostly because I love talking to people now. I it Sometimes it's a little overwhelming when you have or when I have episodes and I have such a busy day, but once I actually start talking to the person, it completely all of that melts away, and it's very fulfilling to be so engaged with an individual.
That's in too. When Pace told us to do this thing, I was like, oh man, I don't want to do that. I was really dreading it, and like, yeah, I was no, I don't have a problem doing like I had my own little YouTube channels for other stuff, but it's just like I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the one in front of the camera. I don't want to be myself and do that and put it out there like that. So, and then when I started, it just all flipped. It was like, wow, this is cool. This is fun. And then I really got into it, and here we are. And 30. You're my 30th. Actually, you're my 30th interview today. So you're actually number 30.
Yay!
And I have
Very nice.
I have Pace scheduled for September 4th for an interview at 9 to 10 a.m. I believe Central Time. I have to recheck the schedule, but yeah, I have him scheduled, so I'm excited about that.
Wow.
But
I'm
yeah,
excited for you.
yeah, I totally relate how you talking about the podcast and getting started and talking to people. So it's really helped. I was a hermit for a while, so just taking care of my son and working, and I ditched all old friends because they were bad influences and wanted to change life. So that's where I come from. I just have been a hermit, so I had to start relearning to communicate and talk with people. So this has really helped with that a whole lot.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
So
oh,
go
um,
ahead. No, please.
okay. The reason for the name as well, Driven by Youth, isn't just because I feel like I'm a youth still, 23.
You are.
But I am kind of surrounded by people that are my age or younger than me now. Well, kind of. I'm Right now I'm not, because I'm in a different environment, but back home my mom runs a nonprofit, and the nonprofit is very focused on guiding the youth in the community.
That's
And so
awesome.
we provide, yeah, I'm very just I feel like my life is very fortunate, and not only have I learned a lot, but I've been able to help a lot of people, especially because of my mom. So we work with agencies to provide youth employment. We teach them how to be in the retail business and a lot of different things. But now we're also teaching them how to cook for themselves. We have a program called Entrepreneurs, and we have a mentorship program, and we're really, really trying to change these individuals and these teens to 20-year-olds. We're trying to change their perspective on the world and their perspective about themselves. And then because I'm an entrepreneur now, about the rat race and everything. But so I was fully immersed in that back home in LA. The nonprofit's called In the Making, by the way. And so I was around the youth every day. And so a lot of people would ask me questions about real estate. And I just, any kind of mindset shift that I get that I think is good, I would try to relay to them. And then I'm also working on a couple other financial literacy groups, youth financial literacy groups, with Isa Vitalino, with another multifamily gentleman. His name is Tim Mai. So it's just like around all around me, I am trying to help, yeah, people my age or younger, the next generation essentially. And that's another reason why I love having the podcast, because I feel like everybody that I've had on not only helps me and they teach me a lot of different, very applicable things and very great mindset shift things. But because I get that, I think whoever will watch it now or in the future will also get it. And I think it's great for the young kids because it's helping me, with my confidence, for instance. And if people are having the same issue, they're generally my age, and I think it helps them as well.
That's awesome. So where can we find your podcast?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah,
Are you on Spotify or Apple or anything? You need to put it up there. It's not
I need to
difficult.
put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Spotify's free, so you can get a free account.
Oh,
Yeah. There's also another one, I think it's called something Sprouts or, I forgot the name of the software, but it'll actually post them all, on a bunch of different, platforms. So I think it's called Buzzsprout. I think I might join that next year, but I had paid all this for StreamYard first, and so I'm just doing Apple is like $19 a year,
oh,
Spotify,
okay.
and then, YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, I'd get them all up on all of there. So
All right. Well, I'll get them up by the time this is out, hopefully in the next week.
so do you, your YouTube just under your name? They can
Yeah.
find you? Okay. And
Yeah.
then
It's my name.
Driven by Youth is the title of the podcast.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, I'm focused on mindset. When you were starting out, you had said, you would before you got on the Muds team, you were doing this alone. How
Mhm.
long were you alone in doing SubTo?
It was about a year and a half. So, well, kind of on and off. So I was doing everything alone for the first month. And then I think the second month, me and three other newbies decided to band together and make a group. And that lasted for a little less than a month because we didn't know what we were doing. And I didn't have the time at the time to really engage much because as soon as I joined the mentorship, I don't like having loans. And so I took a job at Olive Garden to pay off the mentorship on a monthly plan. And then thankfully by the end of that, I actually did a deal. So not only did I pay off the mentorship from Olive Garden, but I also made a deal. So it was like, okay, great. It's um
So you
but
did
yeah,
have a W-2. You've had a W-2. Olive Garden, that's a W-2.
is it?
Kind of, yeah. What,
I
you
haven't
were a
been
waitress?
part-time.
Part-time. That's
I haven't had like a 9 to 5, I guess.
okay,
It was
alright,
like a 9 to 1, 9 to 2.
okay. So we'll stick to that then.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should start saying that. I haven't had a 9 to 5 before because I have had W-2s. Thank you.
Alright.
Um but
Well,
yeah, after that, then I was on my own again, and I was trying to wholesale, I was trying to do a lot of other things, and they weren't panning out. And then I ended up finding or they started the Airbnb arbitrage challenge, and then that's where I really, at least found a niche that I very much liked for a while. But it was just me in that in that until I think December or January 2023.
okay, and when did you meet the Muds again? Sorry.
December of 2022.
Okay, so a year ago. Alright.
Yeah. Or
So that first year, being alone, not being on the Muds team, and you created your own. So I see that's where I'm getting. I wanna analyze your struggles, and because I want others to hear how you as a youth, face these struggles, get through them, and keep going on. Because a lot of people will hit struggles, especially young people will hit them and they'll quit.
Yeah.
So what makes you different? What do you think is your anomaly? What makes you keep pushing on through them, especially when you were doing it alone?
That is a really good question. I haven't thought about that before too much. I think one of the main th- things that I can think of off the bat is just the support from my mom, especially, and my family. I mean, they were ride or dies. The first Airbnb that I got, it was in LA. It was about 15, 20 minutes away from us. And there were 2 days where we rented a U-Haul, and it was me, my mom, and a family friend. And the whole day we were just driving around picking up a bunch of furniture. And so that was, that's a lot of support. If they're helping me furnish this whole 3 bedroom house, I think that I'm doing something right. And I think as well, I was just fortunate to see my mom always keep going growing up. So she had several nonprofits that she's tried. She had several different um uh I guess hustles is the right word, but we didn't really think of it at the time, but different jobs that she would do growing up. So she would like sell clothes at the swap meet, and so I was just very accustomed to her switching different things if something wasn't working, or working right at the time, because I know that she's gone back to different, again, I'll just say hustles so that it's easy, but she would go back to different hustles every now and then. But I think just seeing her always continue to try to do something that's not that she's in charge of, and she has the freedom to do. um, I don't think I thought of it too much, like, consciously, but I think unconsciously I had um, that sense as well of, just keep going and always try to make my own way that feels right. Wholesaling wasn't working, so, and it didn't feel like I was passionate about it or enthusiastic about it. So I said, okay, well, let me try something else. Let me try door knocking, or let me try this. And I would try to do things enough until I understood what kind of feeling I had about it. And then if it wasn't something that I thought I was very enthusiastic about, then I would try to shift it. Um, and then I found Airbnb and I stuck with it for a bit. And then now it's not where I was before, so I'm shifting again. But yeah, I think really it was just having my mom as that role model, and I think it's more unconscious than conscious that I just wanted to continue on because that's what I saw her do.
Okay, so in your first year, you did end up getting an Airbnb under your belt by
Yeah,
yourself.
I didn't own it. I've done arbitrage.
Okay,
So yeah, I've arbitraged three on my own. And then at one point I had taken in another 12. That was crazy.
I don't understand with the Airbnb and the arbitrage of Airbnb. I feel like I have a mental block. I don't get it.
No, it makes sense. For me, I knew that I could furnish things very inexpensively if I wanted to. And so it seemed like such a minimal entry fee that that's why I went into it. So I was able to work with a couple SubTo students to lend me the money essentially for deposit. And then I ended up furnishing that 3 bed for, I think, maybe $500, because
Okay,
I was just, Facebook, Craigslist, anything. Um, but yeah, because of that, that's such a minimal entry fee. That's why I went into it.
okay, all right. So, can you share? That was one of them. I would say probably. Can you share any other successful real estate stories you got?
Ooh,
And what did you learn from them?
oh man, that is interesting. I'm sure there's a few. Um, well, I've learned from a couple of other different Airbnb arbitrage deals that I've done, or I guess it's not a deal, but homes that I've managed. I learned a lot about partnerships and understanding how to vet people as your partners, and when is the best time to really actually be in an actual partnership and be in an LLC together, and how much commitment that takes from both of you. So, uh, yeah, I think that was one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in the last year and a half. And I'm I'm I've been told I'm type A. I feel like I'm maybe type A minus because I'm not fully super organized or wanting to take control of everything. But if somebody isn't picking up the slack, then I know that I can do it. So I know in the beginning I had a difficult time delegating tasks. Now I'm better at that. But also, the people that I was working with at the time had a difficult time wanting tasks. So it was it was
I
not a match made in heaven.
I have noticed coming across people, it's like there's a lot that want to try and delegate everything out and not do much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that. So, okay, being so young, what advice are you gonna would you give to other young people looking to come into this, get started, and stay motivated while doing so?
Wow. I have not thought about this before, but first thing that pops into mind is to have other people that are doing it and have other people that are doing whatever you're wanting to do successfully and ethically, um, and to reach out to them and see how you can work with them. I think, um, yeah, I think that's a really big thing that a lot of people are just, or maybe not just now for me. They're starting to realize that, it's collaboration over competition, and I think that you can go far by yourself, but you can go further with others and
There you
further
go.
faster.
Right.
And yeah, it's just incredibly important because not only do you get, whatever they can bring, but you start learning from them very quickly just by watching them and just by being around them. My mom had said when she had started um, when she was an assistant for the loan officer when I was younger, she would be in the meetings and she wouldn't really be doing much. I mean, she'd be taking notes, but she would listen to the way that they would speak and how elegant they were, and the way that they would not only use their words, but just a lot of different things that she started to try to speak that way, um, kind of unconsciously again as well. And she noticed that she would try to be a little more graceful with her words, and graceful in the way that she spoke, and in her tone, and in her mannerisms. um, and so I think that's really important, that a lot of people may not realize that if you change just who you're around, you will start to be uh, embody them a little more. So who are you around, and are they people that you want to be like?
Right. So you're fairly organized and you have your board. So you have goals. You seem to make goals. What are your goals for the next year? Do you have specific ones for this next year that you want to accomplish?
I was actually going to redo or look at that goal again recently. At first, it was, I think, by the end of the year to make $10,000 in cash flow. I think that was like the main goal, and now I, I mean that's always, I'd say that that's still my goal, but now I want to add a couple more things to it in regards to, with my team, with the MUDs and the single family and multifamily teams, but also with the financial literacy groups as well. So I really, there have been some large changes, which have been great in all of those endeavors that I'm doing. So recently, uh, I planned out by the end of this week to have more goals for each of them set.
All right. So I just went blank for a second, but what advice can you give for career planning?
Ooh, I don't know. That is something that I need advice on, or that I
Okay.
would need I want advice on. I have I love the people that I'm talking to, not just with the MUDs, but um, a lot of individuals that are around my age have been very helpful with me when it comes to thinking about goals. They help me think about, okay, well, what do I want? And I kind of give a general statement like, I want to help the teens and the youth learn multifamily, and then they start going into why. And I think there's this thing called this, or like there's like 7 whys that you want to ask yourself.
Mhm.
So I'm going to look into that. I recommend anybody look into that because I think that's the real way to get to the root of what you want, why you want it, And then I think how to get it or how to execute what you need to do in order to get that is easier. Oh, that reminded me of a lot of people mention it, but there's be, do, how, or no,
Mhm.
be, do, have.
Yes.
And yeah, I like going backwards from that. So, okay, what do I want? Um, and then, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to do that? And who do I need to be in order to do the thing in order to have that? So, okay, I want, the general statement, I want to help teens or whatever it may be. Okay, well, why do I want it? And that goes to the B. So now you're really starting to go into yourself and be more introspective so that you can understand what your true values are and what your true mission is. And then everything else kind of just comes from that. It's easier.
All right, now I want to talk about SubTo. Getting into SubTo, tell us about it. Tell us your experience with SubTo. How do you feel about SubTo in the community?
I love it. I think it was the best thing that I've done. It's really funny because a lot of people, when I first joined, and even now when I talk to them, a lot of people have gone through different mentorships and different programs before, but this was the first one that I joined. And they have told me that I'm so lucky that I stumbled upon this because I don't need all the other ones that they went through.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm eternally grateful for it. I mean, I have my partners and I'm here in Houston because of SubTo. I'm traveling because of SubTo. Before I am traveling to conferences and a lot of different things. But before even joining SubTo, I never thought that I'd be on a plane in the next 5 years, and I've flown at least 10 times now. And it's not just the way that I'm saying it right now. I feel like it makes it sound very Gen Z TikToker. Like, look at me, I'm making $10,000 a month, or I'm flying all over the world.
No.
But really, in the sense that I mean it is, I had, in a sense, accepted that my life may not be as lavish isn't the right word. Um, but I guess I wouldn't really ever get to middle class. Like we were upper, lower class growing up, and even where I was at the time. And I guess I had accepted it. I was okay being there, and I knew how to hustle if I didn't want to stay there. Um, but it was never like I never looked at, okay, well, I don't want to stay here. I want to be middle class or upper middle class or even not high. Like I want to be a millionaire or anything. I never really thought that um, that was anything that I could achieve. So seeing or being in SubTo and understanding how easy it is really, if you wanted to buy a house, you could, and all the different things that I could do and all the different things that other people have done, that really helped me. Like just this mindset shift has allowed me to become a person that I didn't even realize I wanted to become. And I think being around the people that I've been in SubTo and just a lot of the leaders and people in general, whether they're leaders or not, um, the small tidbits of information and encouragement and help um, and tips and just a lot of those things have helped me because I now am much more introspective, and maybe it's not even other people that are helping me with my confidence. Like a lot of it is now me. Like now I want to be able to um, be much more introspective for myself. Like joining SubTo has made me better for me.
That's awesome. No, it does. The community is I think it's a life-changing community for some. I mean, the amount of information given, the people are what make it pretty freaking amazing. I was absolutely blown away when I joined, and the people calling up willing to help. I was blown away. I was just like, "Holy moly, this is gonna work."
Yep.
Because I'm not sitting here by myself. You got people reaching out constantly. Uh, Pace is always pushing about the networking. So you're doing capital raising, so you're really having to work on that networking, aren't you?
Mhm. Yeah.
You have to get out there and make yourself known, because it seems like people will not just put their money with people they don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I That's also helping me get out of that my comfort zone when it comes to that confidence level. because it's my job and I take my job very seriously. So if I need to be talking to people, I will talk until I can't anymore. So if I'm going to these conferences and such, I may be tired and I may not want to go out for dinner or something with individuals afterwards. I may want to go home and sleep because I just had like a 10-hour flight. But I think, nope, it's my job and I'm going to do it well and I'm going to build these relationships. And so, yeah.
That's perfect way to look at it. So again, we talked about your goals and stuff. What are your long-term goals? What do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself?
So I really see myself delving deeper into a lot more youth focused activities, especially 10 years in the future. I think I'm very confident that I will be well established in whatever my financial uh,
I'm
standing
very
will
confident you will
be.
be too. You're doing awesome.
um, and from there, I want to help not only my mom's nonprofit and really put a lot more funding in, not just funding into it, because I know that throwing money at certain situations doesn't necessarily mean that it'll help, but I want to be able to make what we're trying to do more widespread, and we're trying to provide affordable housing for the youth as well. So I know that at least in 10 years we'll have done that already. And especially with what I'm learning in multifamily and learning about a lot of grants when it comes to aging out of the foster youth and such, I know that we can do a lot of big things for a lot of individuals. And a lot of, I want to make mindset um, much more focused for any projects that I'm a part of, especially when it comes to the youth. And then in 10 years time as well, my dad, he wants to do something with the like with families as well. So he wants to create some sort of family fun center,
Okay.
not only for people to be able to go, kids to be able to play, or even parents to be able to play in like a huge jungle gym, but he wants to provide some sort of learning centers as well within that. And that's something that I really want to flesh out and have not, if not started in 10 years, being close to starting and really having planned everything out.
That's awesome. That is really good. So are you keeping up on trends in the real estate industry? Do you see anything on that aspect or on that horizon coming across that, hey, maybe we should focus on this?
Um,
Are you a visionary?
I am neither. So I've taken the rocket fuel test multiple times and
Okay.
it tells me I'm neither. And I sometimes I get a little more visionary than integrator, and then sometimes it's vice versa. I think I'm more visionary, but only because I don't like to look at paperwork and such. So, but I love being an integrator because I love being helpful to people. So if it's something that I can do, then I love to do it to be able to be helpful. But as far as trends go, it's more taking other people's words for it.
All right. Hey, I know you got another meeting you got to get on, and we're at 9. We're a little after 9. So I want to ask you one more question. This is a fun question, kind of. It's just something I'm going to start asking people on my podcast. And the question is, what is more important, and where would you get the most gain? With more positive thinking, or with less positive, or with less negative thinking?
Ooh,
Where do you think you would get the most gain? With more positive thinking or with less negative thinking?
I like that question. Hold on, give me a quick second to think about that, and maybe I'll um, kind of word vomit as I'm thinking. But what's interesting, ooh. I'm gonna say with less negative thinking,
Absolutely.
because yeah, although you can have a ton of positive thinking, but if your lows are really low, that can really, really bring you down. So I think the more that you understand how to see those lows and how to quickly adjust from them, and not only just see them but understand where they're coming from and really try to reframe your mind, um, the less of those there'll be. And so every time you get into that low, you're dragged down and it's difficult to get back up to where you were before. So try to start leveling out that field so that you don't have to keep climbing to get to just your normal.
That's all. Yep. Absolutely. That's less negative thinking. Those negative thoughts are huge weights.
Yep.
They will bring you down quick. And when we tend to stay on them, that's bad for us. So
Agree.
absolutely agree with you 100%. Thank you very much for your time. I need to know, also, I'm going to tell you to send them to me. Any links for where people can find you, please send me your links so I can put them in the description. And again, please tell people where they can find you on YouTube.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then I'm going to let you do it. I'm doing all the talking. So tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, so really you can find me anywhere and it is thankfully my name. So Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, um, any of those, it's my name. Yeah, right there, Jada Thoele. So I am very fortunate again to have such a unique name because it's, I don't have to think about having a new handle.
Hey, well, I wanted you to mention your mom's nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
Please let us know what it is.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. So the nonprofit is called In the Making. It's in Los Angeles. The Instagram handle to that is in the making underscore official, I believe.
Can you send me the link
Um,
for that too?
I will, yes. And then we have a boutique in case that's the wrong username because we have gotten hacked before. But the
Okay.
boutique is in the making LA underscore boutique. And I'll be adding or I'll have Todd add the links. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Jada. I very much appreciate it. You're an inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing. I look to see you being way up there in the next couple years.
Thank you. I look forward to bringing you and others with me.
Hell yeah. Well, you have a good afternoon. And I'm going to end this now. I'm going to have to ask you to stay on while it downloads. It might
Sure.
be long, a few minutes, it might not. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
ending
understand.
it now.